Alrighty, hi, my name is Taylor with Doggone Problems, and I'm here with Mochi or Momo. She's a rescue Shar Pei from Indiana. The first however many years potentially of her life, she was a breeder, so she was basically constantly pregnant. She luckily found a great home here. She's been here for a couple months. She's still not completely out of that grace period of really figuring out, she really doesn't know how to be a dog at this point. She's still trying to get comfortable. She's really just now coming into her personality. So her mom is just being proactive and getting her set up for success. Today we talked about a few things. The first thing we talked about was exercise. You're already doing an excellent job on the exercise front, but we can do a little bit of modification in terms of making it even better. Continue with the walks that you're doing in the evening. It's great that you're letting her sniff. That's very beneficial for her in terms of burning energy. Sniffing is also soothing for dogs, so allowing her to sniff can help with some of that anxiety that she's dealing with. She likes to run the yard and do zoomies. That's great too. Let her do that, especially if she's enjoying it. We talked about some other versions of stimulation. So you already have a lick mat. I would love for you to start using that. We talked about maybe softening her kibble. I'd talk to your vet, see what you can and can't give her in terms of her stomach, but potentially softening her kibble and spreading it across that. We talked about a snuffle mat. We talked about filling the Kong with something that she likes. So maybe her food, or like softening the food the same way with water, making it a mush and shoving it in there. A snuffle mat is going to be about the same size as your lick mat. I showed you a picture of Luca with one. It has the fleece tassels. That is going to be an excellent way to feed her as well. She's probably going to take even longer with her big snout. So she's going to have to move the tassel, lick the food, move the tassel, lick the food. It's going to way slow down her process of eating. And it's going to help burn energy, which is what we're looking for here. Another one that we really like is the Omega Paw treat dispensing ball. That is one that you might have to coach her through learning how to use, but that's going to be another one where she's moving around, pushing the ball to get the food out. Any food dispensing toy that's going to cause her to work for her food is going to give her a little bit of stimulation, and that's really what we're looking for here. We talked about some rules for her. The first one we talked about today was the door. So telling her to sit before she goes outside to go potty. Tell her to sit one time. If she sits, she can go out immediately. If she doesn't, she has to wait for 1 minute. You can sit, I would sit nearby, so the chair by the door right here, and wait for that 1 minute. After the 1 minute passes, go back to the door, tell her to sit once more. If she sits, she can go out. If not, this time she waits 2 minutes. Next time it's 4 and then 8. It should probably not get to that point, but we just want to look to incorporate a little bit of structure into her life. She will appreciate it, I promise. It's not mean. The next one we talked about was food. Just have her sit before you put the food down on the ground. Sit before she's getting treats. She has a great sit. I was a little skeptical first, but it's actually pretty awesome. The third thing we talked about when it came to rules was let's slow down that leashing process. So when you are leashing her up, this weekend it'd be beneficial for you to go through this process, but if you go to where your leash is kept and she gets excited, sit back down, wait for her to calm down. When you get to the point where you can pick the leash up, she's probably going to get excited again, set the leash back down and sit down. Then you'll get to the point where you'll start attaching it to her. She'll get excited. You'll stop, you'll set the leash back down, you'll wait for her to calm all the way back down. You want to get through the entire leashing process with her remaining calm. It's going to take some time the first couple times you do this. So doing it over the weekend where you have the time for it is going to be beneficial. Every time you practice this, it gets faster and faster and faster where she's remaining calm through the entire leashing process. Look for rules as you move forward and she starts really becoming comfortable and showing her true personality that you can incorporate into your lifestyle. We're looking for small things you can do to make big changes in her. So really small rules that you can put into place that are going to help her feel a little bit more confident. We talked about a couple things with petting. The first thing we talked about was petting with a purpose. When she comes and she tries to paw at you, tell her to sit. When she sits, she gets the pet that she was seeking. If she doesn't sit, she doesn't get anything. Playing hard to get works great for dating, and it works even better for dogs. When you do pet her underneath the chin. If all things are equal, this is the best place to start. A dog who's confident holds their head parallel to or elevated from the ground. A dog who's not so confident is going to hold their head down in a more like this. So if all things are equal, start petting here. Eventually, she's going to start prepaying you for the attention, and she will do that by sitting down in front of you. When she does, it's important that you do pet her and say sit to reward her for that. Saying sit while you're petting her is just qualifying why you're paying her. We also talked about passive training, so flop on the bed, how she laid on her side. Anytime she comes to you, pet her and say come. Anytime she lays down, pet her and say crash or chill, whatever word you'd like to use. If there's anything cute that she starts doing that you like, give it a name, mark it. So David's dog grumbles, woo, woo, woo. If she all of a sudden starts grumbling, give it a word. The more they know, the more confident they are. And right now, she could use a little bit of a confidence boost based on her past, not anything you did. We also went over a little bit of kennel training. I'm going to link 2 videos for you over kennel training and stay. They're going to be the puppy class videos that we use, so they'll be pretty detailed in terms of the instruction that we provide. I'd like you to practice every day for the next week, basically just tossing treats in and out of the kennel before you even move to the next step. We want to look for her tail. So today while we were practicing, her tail was down the whole time. It wasn't tucked or anything, but it was just in a more downward position. If you notice when she was outside, when we were out in the backyard for like a minute, her tail was more parallel to the ground and it was wagging. So we want to get to the point where that's how her body language is when she's going in and out of the kennel before we move to the next step. Also, stay, we talked about. Stay, practice that every evening a couple times, so maybe right when you get home and before bed. As you see at the end of the session right now, she's very tired. She's probably going to get pretty worn out from practicing this stuff, and so that'll be beneficial for you as well. But practice every evening a couple times. Over the next week or 2, let's work on getting her up to 2 or 3 minutes for her stay. How the stay is going to translate when it comes to her separation anxiety. We're going to have her start practicing being outside of the rooms that you're in. So when she goes in, when you go into the bathroom to get ready in the morning, we don't want her underneath your feet anymore. We want her practicing now after we get the stay established, but we want her practicing staying just outside of the bathroom while you're getting ready. When you go in the bedroom to get dressed or put your shoes on or whatever you do next, she stays just outside of the bedroom while you're doing that. When you're cooking in the kitchen or you're eating in the kitchen, she stays just outside of the kitchen. This is giving her some practice at not necessarily being alone, but not being right next to you. Right now, it sounds like up until this point, she hasn't really spent any time by herself at any point in her life. So it's gonna take some practice to get her comfortable doing that. And we can start with small steps, like having her stay out of the kitchen, bathroom, bedroom. We also wanna work on desensitizing her. So we established that your shoes are the thing that triggers her to start panicking before you leave. So this weekend, put your shoes on 3, 4, 5 times for every 1 time that you're actually gonna leave, and keep doing that until she stops reacting to you putting your shoes on. Now, then we'll move to the next step. So whether that's picking up your bag or your keys or putting on your coat, practicing that and then not actually leaving. So put your shoes on, sit down on the couch. When she calms down, pick up your purse, pick up your keys. But you want to work through the process of your process of leaving until she doesn't react to that. We also want to practice having like you leaving, but not leaving out of the front door. So your side door. I would, after she's getting a little more comfortable, leave for 1 second and then come back in. Then we're going to do 2 seconds and then 3 seconds and then 5 seconds. You're going to slowly increase the amount of time she's in here by herself. After you get to about 30 seconds, we'll start incorporating some distractions like the lick mat, the snuffle mat, the Kong stuffed with whatever she likes, whatever we figure out that she likes. The Omega Paw treat dispensing ball, any sort of food puzzle, something to keep her mind occupied the entire time that you're gone for the practices out of your side door. When you're leaving for work, I want you to do the same thing. So in the morning, put her food in the snuffle mat and maybe 1 other toy. Test this out on Saturday, see if she's even engaged when you leave. We don't know because we haven't tried this before. But when you're leaving, we want to distract her. So give her something that'll keep her mind occupied. I showed you a picture of Lucas' snuffle mat. I put his little dumbbell on there. He takes 30 to 45 minutes to eat his food that way. And so we want to kill some time and distract her so that she's burnt energy and she's not so amped up when you're gone. Let's see. Do you have any questions? Anything else you want me to go over?
I don't think so.
All right. If you run into any issues at all, I texted you today for my personal number when I was on my way. Save that. My name's Taylor. Put dog in the company name so that anytime you need to reach out to me, even if you forget my name, you can search dog and my name will come back up. You text me is going to be the best way. Send me a picture of her. I definitely won't forget her. But send me a picture of her so that I can remember which dog I was working with and what your problems were. If she starts getting any better or worse, I'd like to hear about it just because you've only had her for a couple months and she's got what sounds like probably a pretty rough past. So if there's anything she starts doing that you're unsure of how to deal with, please reach out because I want to be able to be a resource for you. I talked about bully sticks today. She really liked that bully stick that I gave her. Chewing is a great stress relief for dogs. So maybe she gets a bully stick when you're leaving for work. They make them longer too. We want to make sure that's okay with her stomach. So check with your vet to make sure that's going to be okay. But that would be another great distraction for her. Kneecaps. cow cheeks. They should have all of that stuff or something similar to at the pet store that we talked about that you go to. Otherwise, that's all I got. Remember, everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it.